Marks, author of Love Not Fear, and I just want to talk to you just a little bit today about triggering. This is an impromptu live feed. I don't expect to get anybody on here because I've not announced it. Although you're welcome to come on and ask questions and have your say if you want to. Paul and I will still be going live at 6:30. This is in addition to that. But on my show on Friday, somebody's particularly asked a question about triggering, and I promised that I'd just put up a quick video, and it will only be a very quick video, about 10 minutes, just to look into that. So really what I want to do is just read you something that I've prepared earlier. So excuse the fact that I'm looking at an auto cue. So why do we get triggered? Why do we trigger those we love, even when causing them distress? It's the very, very last thing we ever want to do. So let's explore just a little bit about this and to see why it happens. Now, these are just my ideas. I'm not pretending to be an expert. And if you've got different opinions or different things you want to add in, then please feel free to comment. But when an event triggers us, we often have an extreme reaction to it. Okay, the auto cue is not going to work, so I'm going to ad-lib this. Now, it's my belief and it's my experience that we have these deep-seated traumas. We all have them. Some of them go back to our childhood. Some of them go back to events that happened to us in the womb. Sometimes it can be more recent things that trigger us. And when our subconscious knows, and our subconscious does know, that we're ready to heal, that we're ready to move up to the next level, that's when we can experience this thing about being triggered. Being triggered refers to something that affects our emotional state, often quite significantly. Something somebody does or says reminds us of a past event that we may still not be aware of consciously, and that doesn't matter, because our subconscious knows we're ready to bring it to the surface to heal it. So I'm suggesting that when we get triggered, instead of punching somebody on the nose or breaking up with somebody we love, we thank them. We thank them for the distress, because that has woken us up to an opportunity to heal. Maybe the past event made us feel hurt or judged. Perhaps we didn't feel good enough. We felt inadequate. And the thing that the person has just done has made us feel the same way all over again. Dr. Joe Dispenza does some interesting work. He talks about the way the chemicals in our bloodstream that our cells are bathed in, that our DNA is bathed in. And this works in very closely with the work that Bruce Lipton's done, Dr. Bruce Lipton. When we're stressed, we have certain chemicals in our bloodstream. When we're traumatized, we have certain chemicals in our bloodstream. And we get addicted to those chemicals. And we feel the need to recreate the events all the time, go on recreating the events to produce the same chemical mix that we're addicted to. And it takes an act of will to get us out of that. So what is will? We talk a lot about will and willpower. People seem to think that they can will themselves out of any situation, but that's an ego thing. Real willpower is when the conscious and the subconscious are working in harmony. Then anything is possible. So if you felt left out or blamed or uncared for in a past relationship, in the womb, in your childhood, rather than going on and on and on, recreating that year after year, in my case, it was a feeling of abandonment when I was 3. When my parents didn't visit me in hospital. That's a personal story. And I've been recreating this feeling of bleakness and abandonment all my life. I can look back on past events in my life and see how I created that. Not consciously, not deliberately. Carl Jung said that until we make the subconscious conscious, it will continue to direct our lives. And we will call it fate. And I can see how I've done that in my life. I can look back and see how I've done that in my life. And I'm sure we've all done it. We can all look back if we can be objective enough to do so. And see how the people that failed to love us, or whatever it happens to be in your case, have done so because we didn't give them much choice. Because we were subconsciously, unconsciously recreating these same conditions that we were familiar with. And I mean, I can still remember the bleakness of the hospital ward. And we're talking the mid-50s. So 3-tone dark brown walls, very, very strong smell of bleach, long, huge, echoey wards with the heels of the nurses echoing as they walked up the ward. I can remember all of that and how lonely and bleak I felt. And every time somebody fails to love me or stops loving me because I've done something silly to create that, this is my story, but you've all got your own different stories. And when something triggers us, it brings all that up. Sometime in the past when we were out of control, or we felt that we were being controlled or manipulated. Or maybe we felt betrayed. Whatever it was for you. If somebody triggers you and brings up those memories now, or maybe doesn't even bring up the memories consciously, but brings up the feelings. First of all, thank them, because they've done the biggest favor they could ever do you in your whole life. They've given you the greatest opportunity to learn and to grow that anybody's ever given you in your whole life. And then just sit with the feeling. Don't give it a name. Don't give it a story. Just sit with the feeling. Respect it. And just observe it as it passes through you. And that, my friends, in my opinion, is how we heal. Now, that's really all I want to talk about today. Nobody's come on because, as I say, I didn't announce this in advance. But just remind you that we're on. Paul and I are on at 6:30 tonight for our usual Love Not Fear show. And I'm on with Claire Johnson on Friday with my co-creating the New Earth show to talk about her community garden. So I hope you can tune in for one of those. And if you have any questions that arise from this impromptu broadcast, then please feel free to bring them up on a later show. So that's all for tonight, folks. That's all for this afternoon. We've got tonight to come. Namaste.